hope to dream immigration reform. Joining me this morning to discuss all of this is a woman who had a unique vantage point to history this week, Republican Congresswoman Ileana Ross-Layton. Congresswoman, thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much, Jimbo. Appreciate it.
Where are we now? Give me your assessment. Here we went through this shutdown. We're looking forward. What do we have to expect now?
Well, first of all, I mean, I think it's very disingenuous for the president to say about the politics and points. If there was anybody who was playing politics and political points, it was the president, who refused to negotiate with House Republicans. We forced him into one meeting. That was it. And Harry Reid, who also refused to negotiate with us. So it took us a while to figure out that, hey, we're not going to get our way. But we held through our principles and we held fast. But we're only 1/2 of 1/3 of the government. We're the Republicans in the House. We picked up a couple of Democrats along the way. But Harry Reid would not sit down and negotiate with us. And President Obama would not sit down and negotiate with us, and yet the public ended up blaming the Republicans. We realized that. Look, Jim, this is my 4th shutdown, and I told my colleagues, you're not going to get out of this unscathed. This is not going to play out the way you think it's going to play out. We've done it, and first of all, this isn't the first one either. This is the 18th government shutdown with Republican presidents, Democratic presidents, Republican House, Democrat House, and the other way in the Senate. It doesn't matter. The president has got the bully pulpit. He's going to end up making the points. And now, with the help of Harry Reid, we were stuck. We were jammed.
Well, but you being smart enough to realize this, knew you were being led into a box canyon. You were going to lose this fight. And you want to say that this is a Democratic shutdown, the president, Harry Reid, forcing the shutdown by not negotiating. A lot of people, though, believe that this was an internal fight within the Republican Party between the Tea Party faction within your party and the more moderates, such as yourself, who's still a conservative, but who sees the path and realizes you came into this with a bad deck of cards. Is this really a fight within the Republican Party that forced this shutdown?
It is not. We remained united throughout this battle. We were united into not funding Obamacare. That was the battle. We passed, I don't want to be technical, continuing resolutions, fancy term for temporary budgets. We passed them once and again over to the Senate. And we passed individual bills. Were the parks closed? Yes. Were the museums closed? Yes. But what did we do, the Republicans in the House? We passed a bill to open the parks, to open the monuments. We passed a bill to help with the National Institutes of Health so that they would have full funding. We passed bill after bill after bill. Jim, we passed a whole lot of bills. You got our press releases, and we kept doing the people's work every day.
It was piecemeal.
I realized. That's right, but we did it without it being piecemeal. We passed it as a budget. Harry Reid said, I won't take it up. We passed it individually. Harry Reid said, we won't take it up. I mean, what more can we do?
Well, last point on this, and I do want to look forward, but I think that what would be said is that there was a deal between the Speaker and between Harry Reid, and the deal was if the Democrats will accept the Republicans' continuing resolution at Republican funding levels, which was much lower than what Democrats want, and in return the Speaker promised to pass a clean CR without any attack on Obamacare. It was the Speaker who broke that and the Republicans who broke that promise and then sort of attaching amendments about Obamacare and defunding. The Democrats said, we'll give you exactly what you wanted. The Republicans should have declared victory and said, we won. We got a continuing resolution at our funding level.
Well, I don't agree with that scenario, but let me talk about one little area that you said about the Tea Party. You know, in all these previous shutdowns, 17 times we've shut the government has been shut, and there was no Tea Party involved in those scenarios. But now that we've had this shutdown, people are waking up, oh wow, we had a shutdown, the Tea Party is to blame. And also the debt limit, you know, there has been over 50 times where since the same time as the shutdown, 50 times where Congress has had to raise the debt limit, and it hasn't been an inter-party problem. It wasn't the Republicans. We just have philosophical differences at all times of our nation's history about what should be funded and in what manner it should should be funded.
You're not concerned about what the Tea Party is doing within the Republican Party?
The Tea Party is not burning down buildings. What are they doing? They're taking to the airwaves. They're engaging in social media. They're calling in radio stations. And, oh, my golly, they're voting. What a revolutionary concept. A pox on them. I mean, they're part of the process. I don't think that it's bad when the progressives, like MoveOn.org, protested in front of my office. Good for them. I wish that in my native homeland of Cuba, we would have MoveOn.org who would protest. And I got protested by the Tea Party also. This is unbelievable. Is this a great country? Or I get protests from both sides.
But at the end of the day, you did vote to open the government, raise the debt ceiling limit, because you don't worry about a Tea Party challenger on your right.
First of all, I don't worry about the electoral prospects of it. I'm a politician, elected official, so I'm not saying, oh, well, you're not going to look at that. Everyone does, including President Obama, Harry Reid, and John Boehner. But I look at the nation and I say, look, it's time to get it moving. We made our point. We fought it. But now let's get moving. And I hope that this December deadline for the budget is a real one, that we do produce a bipartisan budget, because most people are not on the extreme right or the extreme left. They're in the middle, and what they want is for us to legislate and for us to govern. More than just make speeches and have press conferences, we need to govern. And we stick to your principles. You do that. Nobody's saying to bend, but we need to show that we can legislate.
The President said that he'd like to see Congress take up 3 pieces of legislation before the end of the year, pass a budget, do the Farm Bill, which would include help for farmers that's needed, but also include, food stamps and WIC. And then the third piece of legislation, he wanted immigration reform. He said it's been passed in the Senate. It's waiting for the House to take action to it. Of those 3, is there one that's more likely to happen than the other?
Well, the Farm Bill, I think, is very likely to happen, and the budget, I think, is going to happen. Immigration we'll talk about in a second. But you picked some nice sound bites there from President Obama, looking very magnanimous and loving. What you didn't pick are the phrases that he used to characterize Republicans, which were pretty harsh. They must have done some polling, and they figured out that just the word Republican was damning enough.
Well, I think I've got some sound like that. Let's see.
So I think that it was pretty fierce. At the same time that he says he wants to work in a bipartisan manner, he can't just be bashing us all the time.
Well, let's hear. This is a bit of sound from President Obama.
Some of the same folks who pushed for the shut and threatened default claimed their actions were needed to get America back on the right track, to make sure we're strong. But probably nothing has done more damage to America's credibility in the world, our standing with other countries, than the spectacle that we've seen these past several weeks.
Well, let me tell you about this spectacle.
$24 billion was lost in the shutdown.
President Obama, when he was Senator Obama, how did he vote on hiking the debt limit? The speeches that he made, why don't you show those speeches where he says it would be irresponsible to vote to hike the debt limit? It would be unpatriotic to vote to hike the debt limit. And now he says the opposite.
He's got a new job
spectacle.
now.
Well, so I understand, but when you pick and choose little sound bites, it makes it look like we are so horrible. And yet, this is a person who did not want to negotiate with us, still does not want to negotiate. He wants these 3 issues resolved, and I think that's wonderful. How many times is he willing to sit down and hammer out a negotiation or a compromise? I'm not afraid of compromise or negotiation. They're not 4-letter words. We've got to work together, but it starts at the top.
All right, let's take a break when we come back, and let's see if we can work our way through. Well, you and I can work our way through some of those issues. When we come back, we'll be right back.